Bourbon braised beef short ribs, Harlem Tavern. I shouldn't even have to say anymore. That dish looked awesome. It tastes awesome. It was yummy to my tummy. Y'all need to make sure y'all check out that dish at Harlem Tavern. But coming up next, we have one more breakfast dish for you. Jay Jackson is throwing down with his pumpkin French toast. And I heard that there might be some mixing of the pumpkin stuff. I don't know. Some pumpkin French toasty thingy. Let's go to the kitchen right now and see what's going on with that. I'm excited.
Today on Neighborhood Chefs, we're here with Chef Jay Jackson. How are you?
Great, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, Chef Jay Jackson. Sometimes my friends affectionately call me Mr. Foodtastic.
Okay.
It's my food name. I started in catering maybe 3 years ago. I just have a love for food. And that's spawned my catering company, Entree Metropolitan Catering. We've been operating for 3 years, so thousands of taste buds later and happy stomachs, I'm here today to share with you a recipe.
Awesome. And what are you making?
Well, I'm a seasonal chef, so we had a great summer, and now we're going into fall. So one of the fall things that is great for me are pumpkins. So as you can see by the beautiful display here, we're going to go with pumpkins. And I love breakfast. I'm a big breakfast person. I could eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So I'm going to make for you a pumpkin French toast stuffed with a blackberry caramel mascarpone. So get your taste buds ready.
Started.
Exactly.
I'm excited.
So what we have, I'm going to reach around you.
Okay.
What we have is we're going to start with the sauce. And the sauce is very simple sauce. A caramel sauce is going to be the base. You can make a caramel sauce pretty simple. So I used a cup of sugar and half a cup of water. So we're going to let that sit, work its magic, takes a few minutes. It's going to bubble and it's going to become a beautiful amber brown, and that's going to be the base of our sauce. And while we're doing that, we'll go ahead and get our cream ready for the sauce, which is going to give it a nice, smooth, silky texture. So I'm going to reach over here and grab some heavy cream. I'm going to use about 1/4 cup of heavy cream. Now personally, I'm not big on measuring. I'm more of a smidge of this, a smidge of that, from kind of the old school of cooking. Grandmother taught me all the basics, and she always said, you could just put a smidge of this, pinch of that, and just eyeball the rest. So she always encouraged me to kind of make it your own. So I think for any chef, once you learn the basics of how to do something, it's all about making it personal for you. So you got that. And with the thing with the caramel, I'll go back to that for a second, is you don't have to stir it around. You might think that you have to stir it up and mix it. No, just let it work its magic, and it'll do great. Right, so we want to create air into the cream, which we're going to put into the sauce. What that does, it gives it a great volume, a great texture, very smooth. Usually people use it like in gravies if they want to eliminate the lumps. But this is a great way to just make sure the consistency on it is nice and smooth. So I'll bring this up a little bit. And allow that, and you'll see that it's starting to bubble a little bit. And that's all we need, is a light simmer on it. And you can see also that the sugar mixture is starting to bubble, which is great. And it's going to turn, again, a beautiful amber brown in another couple minutes. And you see how the beautiful, again, you're looking for a beautiful amber brown to come in there, and that's the caramel sauce. It's pretty simple. The thing you do want to do is make sure that you don't burn it. So you want to pay attention as the color starts to come in. You want to take the time and just stand over it. I mean, don't try to multitask with anything else. The color's coming in kind of nice, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it down on low. New stove. There we go. So while it's still hot, you want to go ahead and start incorporating the cream into it. And it's going to bubble up a little bit, if that's okay. Just again, keep whisking it. become a beautiful, beautiful brown. Slow, small portions, and just a nice little steady stream there. Make sure that it doesn't bubble over. You get it with practice 1 or 2 times. It's a piece of cake. And I'm gonna let it come back down. And this basically would be caramel right here. Once it bubbles down again, you'll see how the color comes in.
It smells so good.
It does. We need smell-o-vision right now. So everybody at home can see how wonderful it is. These are one of those things where you just kind of have to be patient. Exactly. It comes in. Again, with the whisk, you're putting that air in that it needs to finish doing what it's supposed to do. I'm actually going to have you give me a hand by putting in the blackberry preserve. Just dump it right in here.
I know.
Yes, ma'am. Hopefully it comes out easy. Perfect.
Maybe I should get a spoon.
There's a spoon right there. Perfect. And so it now becomes a blackberry caramel. And again, you just take a look at the consistency of that. It's beautiful.
It's delicious.
Smell it. It smells great. What I'm going to do is I'll take all the way off now. And the last little thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add a teaspoon, actually a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla. And this just gives it that last little punch that it needs for proper flavor. And basically that's it. For the caramel sauce, you're done. What you want to do is you want to set it aside. Let it come to room temperature. By the time you're done with your French toast, it's exactly where it needs to be at. And now we're going to transition into making the actual French toast. I'm going to take a couple of bowls. Now everybody, I think French toast is not a difficult thing to make. You know, everybody has a basic recipe that they follow with French toast. So again, French toast is it's pretty basic. Everybody has a standard recipe they use with French toast, usually milk and eggs, maybe a few seasonings, and that's basically the same recipe that I have. The only difference is we're going to make it a pumpkin style, which is, again, it's just about learning the basics, and then you can always put a spin on any recipe, I think, and make it your own. So what we'll do here is we're going to take 4 eggs, and while I'm doing this, I'm going to have you measure out 1/4 cup of sugar for me.
Okay.
2. Tray. And 4. And we'll start again. We're going to whisk. Whisking is our friend. So I'll take the sugar and you can just mix that in. Thought you were going to be able to just sit there and smile all day. I'm going to put you to work a little
I
bit.
don't mind.
Whisk that together just until it's smooth and the sugar kind of incorporates well into the eggs. And that's good. You want to make it kind of fluffy a little bit if you can. It's going to help again with the body of the mixture. And from here we're going to add the puree. So I'll grab a spoon and dump that in. You can do this with anything. I chose pumpkins again because it's fall. I think it's a beautiful ingredient. But you can vary this up as well. You can do a banana puree. You can do a berry puree. I think anything that you can get down into a puree form would work well with this. And then we're going to add the spices that go so great with pumpkins. We have cinnamon, ginger, and some nutmeg. All three of those are going to go in. Beautiful. And I choose to use fresh ginger. That's me. I think that when you use fresh ginger and fresh nutmeg, it just adds it just kind of it more shows that you care about your ingredients. You want to give the best possible thing you can. So when you use something that's already grounded up and been sitting on the shelf for 6 months or a year, you know, I think it takes away from the flavor a little bit. So I always like to use the freshest things that I can find when I'm making a recipe. And so we're just going to use a pinch of salt also. How great is that? I always say take a pinch and throw it over your shoulder for good luck. So get that, like that. And I'm actually going to have you measure out again for me about 1.5 cups of milk. Yeah. This is mixed good. And you're looking for a nice custard consistency.
Actually, a little cup that would come out of that.
That's fine.
Okay.
That works. And to that, we're going to also add about 1/4 cup of heavy cream. Again, it just gives it that body that we like and the consistency. Perfecto. And again, we're going to top it off with 1/4 teaspoon. I never knew that the caps is 1/4 teaspoon. So I always do that now. I'll just measure out with the caps as opposed to going and grabbing a little measuring spoon. And then we're going to hand me that rum. I'm not a drinker, so I go with a rum extract. But if you have some dark rum in the house, it goes just as well. You probably use a little bit more, maybe a whole tablespoon of rum. But for this, 1/4 teaspoon is fine for what you're doing. And you can always switch this again. You don't have to put rum in it. I think it just gives it a nice additional flavor. During the fall, you like kind of things that warm you. So rum is always that hits you right here in the pit. Yeah. Kind of gives you some warmth there. And that's basically it. That's going to be your mixture for the French toast. So we'll put this aside. I'll talk for a second about the bread. Okay. So, and I like whole because it allows you to slice it how you want it. Me personally, I'm a thick sliced person. I'm a foodie and a fatty. So I love food and I love to eat. So I'm gonna slice into about 1 inch thick. Okay. And for the purposes of this, we're gonna do about 4 slices. 3, 4. So we're going to take it and we're going to put it in our mixture. And we're going to let it sit for a minute. We're going to let it soak up all the flavor that the mixture has to offer. Okay. Let that melt down. And so I let it's sitting there for about 2 minutes. About halfway through, I will go in and flip it over so that both sides are equally bathed in the mixture. And this is a pretty easy no-brainer. Sometimes I use butter, sometimes I use butter and oil. Now the purpose for me of using butter and oil is that butter tends to burn at the higher temperatures. Right. So when you add oil to it, what it does is it keeps the butter from burning. And that, again, it goes all into the taste. You don't want a burnt tasting piece of... the whole meal. Exactly. And then we'll take our French toast. It's been soaked rather well. Place it in. One key when putting stuff in a hot skillet, again, always place it face away from you as you put it down, because the splash always hits you. Early on in my early cooking days, I used to just plop things down, and I've got the burn marks to prove it. And that's going to sit for about 2 minutes. We tend to mess around with stuff in the skillets. I say let it sit, let it cook. It's going to do what it's supposed to do. Don't really need to mess with it. So let it sit for about 2 minutes. Halfway through, you're going to check it just to make sure that it browns. So kind of take a quick peek, and you'll see it's still working. So we'll let that sit.
I'm so excited about this.
Yay. Yay. And we can actually start while we let that sit. We'll straighten up a little bit as we go. And so we flipped it over. It's cooked for another couple minutes and we're actually done. Got 1, 2 pieces here. And now all that's left is to make our cream mixture, which I've actually already made ahead of time. And so we have a pretty simple mixture. It's just mascarpone and a little heavy cream. Mascarpone is like a sweet cream cheese. So we've got this mixture, and what we're going to do is we're going to take our mascarpone, grab our French toast, and we'll grab a set of toast. And this is the base. And the stuff part. So we've got our mascarpone mixture. And we're going to put a little bit on each one. Don't have to worry about spreading it around because we're going to put 2 top pieces on. And we can't forget about another one of the stars of our show, the blackberry caramel sauce. If you hand me a spoon, perfecto. I'm going to put a little bit of the sauce on each one. Now, I personally love this sauce, so I would drench it, but I think for presentation purposes, I'll just put a little bit on there.
That looks so good.
Got that. And then we're going to put our 2 top pieces of French toast on. Gorgeous.
It's beautiful.
Perfect. And I'll grab one more thing because I'm a presentation person. Gotta add a little bit of mint to it just to make it look extra pretty. I add a piece of mint for presentation purposes, and then I'm going to take a little bit more of the sauce and drizzle it on as a nice finishing touch. Now, if you're not salivating at this point, I did something wrong.
I've been salivating.
And there you have it.
Oh, man.
So what the true test, of course, is you taking a piece and letting the world know how it is. The true test.
Okay. Oops, see, I'm trying to avoid that.
Enjoy. Sop it up with the bacon.
Oh my gosh, wow.
Lovely. Très magnifique.
Very good. That is delicious. Oh my goodness.
Excellent. Something simple and delicious. Says fall.
Yes, this is beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That French toast was amazing. It looked perfect for the season. Pumpkin French toast. Jay Jackson definitely did his thing in the kitchen, y'all. And if you want to find out more about our chefs and their recipes, log on to www.IBchannel.tv/neighborhood chefs. And if you think you have what it takes to throw down in the kitchen, you can email us at neighborhoodchefs@IBchannel.tv. That's all the time we have for now, y'all. I'm BJ.